Mim waved a hand at Celine's suspicions. I think that the guild was aware that this might be more than we could handle, but not out of any kind of malice. The branch manager didn't have many choices available, which is why she warned us ahead of time about what we should expect. I agree, Raul said. The guild hasn't done anything in the past to raise suspicions. With the monster behaving the way they currently are, the guild likely has more to lose than what we can imagine. If they had an alternative, I suspect that they would have gone with it instead of assigning it to our group. James and Maya walked up to the three, unsure if there was a conversation that shouldn't be interrupted. Looking to Mim, Celine, and Raul, James made an indication as to whether it was okay for them to join. Celine smiled, saying, "We were just talking about silly things," motioning for James and Maya to join them. "Are you okay?" Maya asked, concerned about the elf. "I just need to get some rest," Celine reassured Maya. "Thank you for asking." James looked at Mim. I'm guessing that this request is already showing signs of agitating us. Taking a deep breath, Mim slowly sighed. Unfortunately, it's something that can't be avoided. It doesn't help that we don't know for how long this request will take us. On top of that, we have to deal with the unusual circumstances. Raul added, grimacing as his eyes looked around them. James watched as Raul calmly inspected the surroundings, as though the situation was like a puzzle that just needed time and effort to solve. As though unable to help it, even he looked at the forest around them. A part of him wanted to see if there were any forest animals going about their day. Unfortunately, there aren't any animals this morning. Mim seemed to read James's mind. I guess it might mean that we'll have an exciting day as we go deeper into this nightmarish place. James rolled his eyes. In the background, everyone was finishing up. The sound of items being stored away was comforting. It helped to remind James that even though the request was difficult, they were in it together. Things may get difficult, but each of them would help support one another. Maya was talking with Celine when James was pulled out from his thoughts. While they waited for the others to finish, they conversed regarding minor things that people would often say when there wasn't much to talk about. Even though none of the topics were important, it only helped to solidify how the groups were becoming closer. Knowing that each member was getting along was important. Kate and Peter were the next to walk up to them. "How was your rest?" James asked the couple. Grinning, Peter said, "As much as you'd expect it to be." Kate walked over to where Maya and Celine were talking. Seeing how the women were chatting together and the guys standing separately, James couldn't help but chuckle to himself. I imagine that it's nice to talk to someone that can relate, James thought to himself. Even though Maya enjoyed talking with him, it was obvious that women would enjoy talking to other women when the chance presented itself. Though he enjoyed it when Maya was close, he also didn't want to restrict her. It also made him happy to know that the three women in the group were getting along. The thought that Maya presented of how they were all roommates came to mind, and he couldn't help but smile.